Top 5 Best Hitch Mount Bike Racks Indiana 2020. Number 5. Swagman XC2 Hitch Mount Bike Rack. It's quite hard for any list of the best hitch-mounted bike racks reviews to go without a unit or two from Swagman. Guided by the philosophy ride, paddle, explore, seek your adventure, Swagman is among the most reliable brands when it comes to bike transportation. This manufacturer has all sorts of bike racks ranging from single-arm 2 bike carriers to heavy-duty dual-arms 5 bike transporters. However, if you're hunting for an affordable, light-duty carrier that can transport 2 bikes regularly, Swagman XC2 bike carrier is quite ideal. This model is also great for solo bikers who don't want to tote around a huge bike rack with only one bike on it. So what is this Swagman XC Cross Country 2 bike rack? Swagman XC is a thoughtfully designed bike rack carrier that fits 1A and D 1/4 inch and 2-inch hitch receivers. I think this is quite important, especially if you wish to use it on 2 or more vehicles with different size hitch receivers. Swagman XC slides into a 2-inch receiver easily. Expectedly, there should be a slight play. Fortunately, Swagman has included a threaded pin that eliminates all the wobbling. The package does not bring any tool to tighten the pin down, so you'll require a wrench or a socket to do so. Sure, you could still maneuver the pin with your hand and tighten it. However, if you need some sort of assurance about your bike's and the rack's safety, you better get a set of sockets or wrenches for that. What's so good about Swagman XC is that you can assemble it in about 5 minutes. This rack consists of 3 movable arms joined into a center bracket by 3 easily removable pins. How it holds your bikes. Swagman XC Cross Country 2 bike rack accommodates bikes with a total of 70 pounds. It is a platform type of bike carrier. This means that it holds your bikes by the wheels. A mega feature here is that you won't go through the hassle of removing any of your bike's wheels. This rack has 2 pairs of wheel pools. What's so impressive is that the wheel trays are designed to accommodate different bikes with varying wheel sizes. This is a biggie feature for people who won't be transporting bikes with the same style of wheels all the time. The wheel trays easily move back and forth on the arm by loosening their independent turn knobs. This means that you can carry adults' bikes and children's bikes with the same rack. Mind you, you don't need any tool to turn the knobs. Now, to ensure that the trays don't fall off, there is a screw at the end of each arm to prevent them from falling. On this note too, you can remove a pair of the wheel trays and leave only one on the rack if you'll only be transporting one bike all the time. What I also like about the wheel pools is that there is no form of bike-to-bike contact. Each of your bikes is held on either side of the center arm. So if you're really worried about your bikes knocking each other down the road, as is the case with most hanging racks, this one might please you. Besides the wheel trays, Swagman XC Cross Country bike rack also has 2 ratcheting hooks that move up and down the center arm. There is a hook for each bike. Their role is to hold your bikes by the frame and push them down to lock the wheels in place in the wheel wells. When mounting your bikes, you'll have to pull the hooks up first. You do this pressing a button and pulling the bracket up. Once you've mounted your bike, you simply push the hook down onto the frame. The center arm through which these hooks slide has grooves that the brackets have a vice grip into. So you'll have to push a button to pull up. This is one of the ways of securing your bike onto the rack. So when you're driving on bumpy terrains, the hooks won't move up and risk your bike. Worth noting, these hooks have a friendly heavy padding that protects your bike frame's paint. You might also consider throwing an old sock or foam between the hook and the frame if you like. Other than the vice gripping hooks, there isn't any other form of security for your bikes on this hitch-mounted bike rack. As such, you might want to purchase a bike security cable and tie them down to the arm. This creates some sense of security. For instance, if you're to make a stop and leave your vehicle or bike for some minutes. Accessing the trunk. With some vehicles, you'll have to put your bikes down first before accessing the trunk. Luckily, loading the 2 bikes shouldn't take you more than 60 seconds. Lastly, the 2 arms that lie diagonally can fold up for compact driving and parking. The center arm also folds down by pulling a pin out. Pros: quick and super easy to assemble. Incredible all-metal construction. Fits 1¼ inches and 2 inches hitch receivers. Takes utmost 60 seconds to load 2 bikes. Wheel pool and hooks hold your bikes securely. Adjustable wheel pools fit bikes of different sizes. Padded hook won't scratch the frames. Folds easily for storage and packing. Unbeatable price. Cons: you'll have to purchase a locking hitch pin and a security cable separately. Not enough rise for cars with low ground clearance. Coming in number 4. Swagman Traveler XC2 Bike Rack. Swagman's Traveler XC2 model comes next on our list of the best hitch-mounted bike racks reviews. It's hard to beat this unit if you are looking for a unit that sets up easily and that which is easy to have your bikes on and off without lots of struggles. Easy setup. Swagman XC2 is super easy to assemble since it involves inserting a few pins through the arms. This bike rack fits into a Class 3 2-inch hitch receiver. It also comes with a 2 inches bumper mount adapter for a 4.5-inch continuous steel RV bumper. This is so convenient for RVs that don't have a built-in hitch receiver. Swagman Traveler is as solid as it looks. It's made of a strong metal gauge that will support 2 bikes with 35 pounds each for some years to come. Its metallic arms also have a black powder paint to prevent them from rusting. This is a platform-style type of bike rack. It uses 2 wheel trays to hold your bike. If you're tired of lifting your bikes to your high car's rooftop, you'll probably appreciate the low height with this rack the most. You could be through with loading your 2 bikes on this in under 60 seconds. The wheel trays with this model are wide enough to accommodate wheels ranging from 20 inches through 29 inches. Again, each of these wheel cradles adjusts independently along the arm by turning a knob. This makes it easy for you to carry anything from an adult's bike with a wider wheelbase to a kid's bike. In case you are wondering, these cradles can't fall off the arm unless you want them to. There's a small bolt at each side of the 2 arms that keep them within the frame. Worth mentioning, each set of the wheel pools has been positioned on one side of the main mast. This helps in minimizing bike-to-bike contact. Besides the wheel pools, Swagman Traveler XC2 bike rack also has 2 hooks that press the bikes firmly into the cradles. These hooks are designed to accommodate all sorts of bike frames, wide and narrow. They have a durable heavy padding that won't scratch your bike's paint. These hooks move up and down the mast by pressing a lever. This mechanism allows them to slide way down and hold your kids' bikes into their place in the wheel pools. Do know that the role of these hooks is to press the bikes down. They are sturdy enough and won't release their hold even in the bumpiest roads. However, this isn't to mean that your bikes can't be stolen if they are off your eyeshot. Unfortunately, Swagman Traveler XC2 doesn't include a security cable. So you'll have to order it separately when purchasing the hitch-mounted bike rack. Accessing the cargo area. To get your sports gear and other stuff out of the trunk, you'll have to get the bikes off the rack first. You'll also have to lower the main mast to the right or left by pulling out a pin. This might be a little bit inconvenient. However, it isn't such a huge problem considering that you can load the 2 bikes in under a minute. By the same vein, the cradles fold up for storage. You can also drive with the rack in its folded position without any nuisance. This ease of folding also makes storing easy since the rack does not take much space. Pros: load your bikes in utmost 1 minute. Wide wheel cradles accommodate wide wheels, 20 inches to 29 inches. Ships with a 4.5 inches bumper for RVs. Hooks hold your bikes firmly in place. Hooks have a heavy padding to protect the frame's paint. Padded hooks slide up and down to accommodate bikes with different heights. Cons: rack's locking hitch pin and the bike's security cable sold separately. Coming in number 3. Yakima Doubledown 4 Bike Rack. Yakima's Doubledown is another incredible hitch-mounted bike rack for a family or group of riding enthusiasts. Our team of reviewers found it a reliable option worth its price mark. You might consider it if all you need is a compact rack that isn't overly bulky and too complicated to maneuver. This rack comes unassembled. However, assembling is easy thanks to a detailed guide that comes with the package. Interestingly, this model ships with all the tools required for the assembly. As such, even the non-techies can easily set it up without much hassle. Versatile use. One thing that we like about the Doubledown is that it fits both 1/8 and 1/4 inch and 2-inch hitch receivers. This versatility means that you can ferry your bikes with any of your vehicles, or a friend's, that has any of these two receivers. To convert it to a 2 inches model, you only need to insert a bracket and bolt it down to the shank with a bolt. The shank slides into the receiver without issues, and it's held in the receiver by a hitch pin and a safety clip. Yakima Doubledown is a bit heavy at around 35 pounds. However, it's still easy for one person to maneuver it around given its compact design. This rack is made of sturdy materials. It's rugged and strong enough to support 4 bikes weighing up to 40 pounds each. Again, the shank, shaft, and cradle arms have a black powder paint to protect them from rusting. Mounting your bikes on the rack. Yakima Doubledown is a hanging style 4-bike rack. Similar to other racks of this kind, the Doubledown holds the bike by the frame. That said, you might require a Yakima tube top adapter if your bike doesn't have the traditional frame. This bike rack uses a set of 4 independent cradles to hold your bikes onto its arms. The cradles are made of hard plastic and have rubber straps that you tie down your bikes with. At the side of each cradle are 4 sturdy posts that the straps go into. You can use either of the 4 as you see fit. The inside of each cradle has 2 grooves that hold the bike frame sturdily to prevent it from crashing the cradles. Besides the top cradles, this rack also has switchblade anti-sway cradles that hold your bikes by the down tube. These cradles work impressively in preventing the bikes from knocking into each other. At the end, each arm is a red thingy that not only prevents the cradles from falling out but also acts as a bottle opener for the long rides. Yakima Doubledown bike rack uses a user-friendly trigger finger system to fold the unit out of the way. When not in store mode, the dual arms fold easily by pulling a red lever at the top of the mast. This allows you to drive into your garage easily. You can also drive on the roads without necessarily uninstalling the whole unit. There's also a built-in red pin down the mast. Pulling it up allows you to pull back the mast. This allows you to access the back of your minivan or SUV. This rack does not offer security to your bikes in case you left them unattended. Fortunately, Yakima offers optional deadlock for this purpose. You might also consider purchasing Yakima's arm lock that secures the rack to the vehicle. Pros: easy assembly. Compatible with 1/8 and 1/4 inches and 2 inches receivers. Switchblade anti-sway cradles prevent the bikes from knocking. Pivots down so you can access the storage area easily. Easy on or off feature. Folds down compactly for storage. Cons: no lock to protect the bike and the rack from theft. You need to purchase these separately. Coming in number 2. Yakima Ridgeback 5-bike hitch bike rack. The Ridgeback is one of Yakima's newest bike racks for vehicles equipped with a hitch receiver. This model is available in 2-bike, 4-bike, and 5-bike carriers. If you intend to carry up to 5 bikes to your riding location, Yakima Ridgeback 5-bike rack is worth checking out. This model is also one of the cutest things that we've come across in our best hitch-mounted bike racks reviews. So if looks also rank highly in your considerations, this rack fits the bill. Fits 2 inches and 1 1/4 inches hitch receivers. What you'll certainly like about Ridgeback 5-bike carrier is that it comes fully assembled out of the box. It's designed to fit in both 1 1/4 inches and 2 inches hitch receivers. Switching between either of these 2 versions involves installing an adapter. This process is simple and straightforward and shouldn't take you a minute. The entire rack weighs around 35 pounds. So you'll most probably be able to lift it up and down with ease. The shank slides into the receiver without any hassle. Upon sliding it in, the shank is held in place by a hitch pin. There's also an integrated speed knob at the rear of the shank. Once you turn this knob, it raises a wedge inside the shank that pinches in between the sides of the hitch tube. This eliminates all wobbling tool freely. The speed knob is large enough to give you a better grip. It also has a lock hole that comes with 2 keys. This lock prevents anyone from loosening the rack and stealing it. Mounting your bikes onto the rack. As its name suggests, this Yakima Ridgeback is a hanging-style 5-bike rack. It has dual arms with a set of 5 cradles for 5 bikes. What's so good with these cradles is that they are all made of hard plastic. This is good news to people who will use the rack regularly, since the cradles won't tear easily, as is the case with rubber cradles. Each of your bikes is held onto the arms with 3 zip strips. These zip strips are easy to use and are long to accommodate bikes with wider frames. They have grooves and levers that tightly tie down your bikes. In addition, there are other anti-sway cradles that hold each of your bikes by the seat post. Their role is to minimize sways that could lead to excessive bike-to-bike contact. Worth mentioning, each of the plastic cradles has a soft inner lining. This prevents them from leaving marks on your bike frames or scratching off the paint. Do note that the plastic cradles don't offer optimum security for your bikes from theft. So you might consider purchasing a handcuff locking cable to secure them together. There's also another impressive feature about the Yakima Ridgeback 5-back carrier. The main mast is swooped towards your vehicle and away from the bikes. This offers you enough clearance so the bike's sprockets, crank, and pedals won't come into contact with the mast. Controls. Yakima Ridgeback distances itself from other hanging-style bike racks in the way it bends for storage or tilts away. This rack has upper-hand control levers positioned at the top of the mast. All the operations of the bike rack are in the red and the black levers. As such, there's no need to swing and pull a pin at the bottom to tilt the mast or the arms. Lifting up the red lever allows you to put the cradle arms in their storage position. You'll certainly want to bend the arms down when the rack isn't in use. It also reduces the added length, which enables you to pull into your garage confidently. The black lever at the front tilts the rack away from your vehicle. This allows you to open the rear hatch and get out your sports gear. Storage. As I told you earlier, Yakima Ridgeback weighs around 35 pounds. Again, it's easily removable from the hitch receiver tool-free. What's unique about the shank is that it also folds up against the mast. So you are left with a super compact unit that you can lean against your walls without grabbing much space. Pros. Made of strong materials for durability and safety. Upper hand levers make rack operations easy and fast. Zip strips hold the bikes firmly. Speed knob eliminates all wobbling tool freely. Anti-sway cradles eliminate bike-to-bike contact. Swooped mast offers enough clearance for paddles, cranks, and sprockets. Mast tilts away to allow easy access to the trunk. There's an integrated opener at the end of the cradle arms for your beverages. Cons. You'll require a frame adapter for hybrid bikes without the traditional frame. Coming in number 1. Allen Sports 542RR. Allen Sports Deluxe 4 is one of the best hitch-mounted bike racks on the market. In fact, this rack is currently the best seller in its category on Amazon today. And it's pretty easy to see why so many people love it. About Allen Sports. Allen Sports is an American brand started in 1967 in Lincoln, Massachusetts, by Dick Allen. Dick Allen had just lost his job working on Apollo mission aerospace technology. As a cyclist enthusiast and an inventor, Dick used to take his family of bike lovers for some riding escapades at Cape Cod and the White Mountains of New Hampshire. What proved difficult was to ferry all his family's bikes to the riding locations. That's what led to the birth of the first truck-mounted bike rack, consisting of metal strapping, electric conduit, and fire hose casings. A company that was born in a garage now owns 30-plus patents and has products in over 12 countries globally. So what makes Allen Sports Deluxe 4-bike hitch-mounted bike rack a good recommendation? It's a 4-bike carrier. If you have a family of biking enthusiasts, then this bike is worth checking out. As its name suggests, Allen Deluxe is crafted to hold 4 adult-size bikes securely. This is a hanging style rack that holds your bikes by the frame. In case you are asking, this 4-bike carrier also accommodates your kids' non-traditional bike frames quite easily. Allen Sports Deluxe has 2 arms each measuring 22 inches. The essence here is to keep the bikes some distance away from your vehicle's tailgate. It also allows enough space to carry 4 bikes while allowing each bike enough space to prevent too much knocking. The 2 arms have 4 pairs of top plates. Loading and unloading your bicycles is incredibly easy. Worth pointing out, these top plates are made of rubber. This makes them flexible so they can accommodate bikes with wider frames. Again, unlike hard plastic top plates, these rubber cradles won't break easily. Your bike's safety. We would also like to note the level of protection that Allen Sports Deluxe offers your bikes. A closer look at the individual cradles reveals some raised teeth-like details. Again, each of the cradles has rubber straps that you use to tie down the bikes like a backpack strap. What we like here is that the rubber cradles won't eat into your bike frame's paint. Again, the nylon straps hold the frames tightly, eliminating any unwanted movements. In addition, tying these straps don't involve a lot of fight. However, it's not something that anyone with some ill intentions would just do in a split second. It's solidly built. You don't want to see your bikes somersaulting on the highway thanks to a cheaply made bike rack, right? Allen Sports Deluxe 4-bike rack is made of super strong steel. This bike rack is designed to support 4 bikes weighing up to 140 pounds. You can tell that it's solidly built just by holding it in your hands. Again, it has a black powder coat finish, so we expect it to hold up quite fine in the weather. To cement its long-lasting design, Allen Sports goes ahead to back it up with a lifetime warranty. Easy assembly. This is probably the easiest thing with this rack. Allen Sports Deluxe has a heavy solid feel. However, you could assemble and install this thing all alone. Mind you, you need not be a super DIYer to do this. Assembling and installing this rack takes the utmost 15 minutes. Check out this video on how to assemble the 542RR. You will either need to have a 2-inch trailer hitch or a suitable extension for this hitch mount bike rack to fit on your vehicle. The package comes with no wobble bolts that securely hold the rack in the hitch with almost zero wobbling. Opening the tailgate. Allen Sports Deluxe has a tilting mechanism that allows you to access the rear door and take your stuff. To do this, you only need to pull out a pin that supports the main mast. Notably, you can tilt the rack with one light bike on. Folds away. We also love that you don't have to take this rack off your vehicle if you don't feel like. Once you have unloaded all the bicycles from the rack, you can simply fold the arms down to get them out of the way and leave your setup looking neat and organized without having to detach the entire hitch mount bike rack. You can also hit the road with the rack on. This also makes it easy to park your vehicle in the garage without the rack taking so much space. Even if you had to uninstall it, the rack comes off the hitch as easily as it went in. In fact, if you'll be installing and uninstalling it quite often, an ideal idea is to replace the nut and bolt with a standard trailer pin. This way, it will go on and come off much easier with no bolt to loosen. By the same vein, this 4-bike receiver folds flat for storage. It's also not bulky, so you can either choose to hang it on your walls or just lean it at one corner. Pros. Sets up and installs in utmost 10 minutes. Steel construction and black powder coat finish for durability. Carries 4 bikes with a total of 140 pounds. Dual arm style for increased stability. Individual tie-down system secures your bikes. Rubber cradles are flexible to accommodate wider frames. They also don't break easily. Arms fold easily for compact storage. Main mast tilts away to give access to the rear door. Favorably priced. Cons. The rubber in the cradles degrades after some years.